Good evening and welcome to a update on the Cappening channel. I have just received an update. It is update number 29, by the way, from Chris Hansen and his fundraiser to restart his show. Now, if you're a new subscriber, you may be well aware of the 2004 to 2007 television show called To Catch a Predator, which was Chris Hansen working in conjunction with volunteers and the police to arrest child predators. They caught more than 300 child predators. I think about 250 were convicted. The rest walked because of technicalities or because they actually were innocent and they were, the court found them to be innocent. People have been asking Chris Hansen to restart that show, and last year in May he began a fundraiser for a show called Hansen vs. Predator, which will not be an NBC update, an NBC show or a Dateline special, but he will be himself as the producer, working together with Fairfield Police in Connecticut, where he lives. I donated, and the gifts that you could get to be a fundraiser would be mugs or a signed photo of him or a personalized a personalized telephone message and so on from him. Since then, very little have happened. We know that this thing took place, but the Sizzle reel was recently released and we got to see our first look at the predators. So, To Catch a Predator, for all intents and purposes, is being rebooted. Right. So far, we know that we will get at least one episode. The original run of the To Catch a Predator show had about 12 investigations and about 20 episodes, or 21 episodes, depending on how you count it. The rest was just rehash or like a prototype investigation without the police. It was also two hilarious investigations in Michigan, one in Detroit and another one in Chicago. They're online if you want to look for them. There's a different host than Chris Hansen. His name is John Mercutio, and he's wonderfully confronting. He says stuff that Chris Hansen would never say. He says like, "Hey dog, can you handle jail?" Anyway, so just to sum it up, Chris Hansen is coming back. It will be this autumn. The television show will be called Hansen vs. Predator. Now, I will just very quickly go through what I've been doing on my channel, together with some concerned citizens sending me stuff. Because it is so difficult to host up the original television shows, because they get deleted because of copyright, I have been posting the police interviews of a few of these things. One Florida sting, two of the Kentucky stings. The first Kentucky sting from the Bowling Green episode was called The Cappening, and it contains 7 interviews with the men arrested. They're all of them got jail time. They're interesting, very interesting. One of the men cries, another man refuses to talk, a third man believes that the police woman is a therapist, and so on. Great views. And then the concerned citizen, he was able to get me more of those. He got me 20 interviews or so from one of the Florida stings. I published it and we called it The Cappening 2. And this was getting people excited. I got hundreds of subscribers. I didn't know this interest was out there. I was so surprised, and so was the concerned citizen and a few other people who contacted me. Between season 2 and of The Cappening, we were able to rediscover from a private stash that somebody who contacted us had the police interviews from the Ohio investigation and also the full unedited interviews from California stings. And because we had found it almost like an archaeological trove, we called it TCAP excavation, and we put it back onto YouTube, and a guy named Joey Jeremiah hosts it over on his channel. He took a lot of copyright hits for that, but he was able to win. He had a lot of problems fighting YouTube and NBC over it, but it is available now, so you can see a lot of To Catch a Predator material that wasn't originally aired there, and you can see more what happens after Chris Hansen has done his trapdoor spider move and sucked them dry and discards the empty husk over to the police. What happens then? What happens in the interview room? I find it very interesting. And then we were able to get the Highland Heights sting for Decapitating Tree. It was very briefly featured on the Bowling Green episode, although it was not a pure NBC sting. And I have been releasing Decapitating Tree rather quickly because I was pretty sure that something would happen, that HVP, Hansen vs. Predator show, would be released pretty soon. And today I got the Sizzle reel, so let's have a look at it. Why don't we? Let's have a look. You can also see the unedited video over at my page. Like I just uploaded the video there, so you can watch it there.
Where are you at?
It's a little late to be prowling around these parts, huh?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
So first you have the Super Mario guy from the, I believe it's the Ohio Sting, and he, you know, we've all seen his footage.
Why don't you have a seat right over here for me?
Now, that was Hansen's catch line. Yeah, so the show ran from 2004 to 2007, but there was actually some episodes released in 2008, so I like to count it, you know, all those years, 2008. I got into it 2005, but I really began watching in 2007.
I'm here to party.
His name is Alonso Wade. He's just a fantastic Predator. There's a woman on YouTube named Amber, and she made a video with him, like a music video, where he's called, where he sings Eddie Murphy's Alonso wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. Look at all the beer that he brought to get the girl drunk.
And maybe have sex with a teenager. Maybe.
You want to explain yourself?
That's Marvin Leckham. He was like a Trinidadian Indian, because there is a big Indian diaspora. And he was like showcased and pimped out all the time because he showed up naked for a sex act with a cat. But actually he handles himself so passively during the interview that he's not really all that memorable. Like he doesn't give Hansen much. Like Hansen is the guy who sort of like forces the interview to be very good. So he doesn't live in America anymore, by the way.
Grab that towel. You know who I am.
I don't know how well you're hearing the audio, by the way. I hope you hear it as well as me. But Hansen says, "You know who I am." And the guy just goes, "Yeah." I would rather meet the serial killer than Hansen. You know, the killer, he kills you and hides you in a ditch somewhere, or maybe you can fight him off, or I don't know. You know, you get cock to the face. No, how is it? Glock to the head and cock to the face. You know, you can negotiate maybe with Hansen. You know, your life is done then and there. Let's just watch it again.
Oh, you know who I am.
And there's some horror music in the background. It sounds like something from Insidious or The Conjuring or something.
You know what happens next, right?
And he just puts his hands behind his back because now he gets arrested. That is Michael Lubrano, by the way. And if you go onto Perverted Justice website, where you have 623 convictions, they have all the chat logs of the Predators there, by the way. And his is deemed to be the least, or the second to least slimy chat. But actually it's very underrated. He was a Predator, and he was just smart enough to hide his intent. Like, he didn't bring up sex that much in the chat because he thought it might be a trap. But he did bring narcotics for it. And anyway, you know, that's a different discussion for a different day. Let's just keep looking.
You know I'm in trouble, and I know I'm in trouble.
That guy, his name is David Kay, and he was a rabbi. And he's the only guy in all of the... Like, a few guys were rough towards the police. This is the only guy who ever lunged at Chris.
Oh, no. Come on.
You are every parent's worst nightmare.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not much to add to that. So here we start. Here are new Predators, and the original show received some criticism, especially from me. I will be the first guy to say it. they didn't really catch many pedophiles there. They caught a few. They caught Thomas Bodnar. They caught some people with previous molestations. They caught a few people, especially the young men, 19, 20-year-olds. Many people do a lot of their molestations at that age because your access to children is so high and your sex drive is so strong. If you are of the molesting type, of course. But the Hansen vs. Predator show uses different chatters and a different mythology, so I believe that most of the men caught here, and I've already checked their backgrounds, by the way. I have plenty of material on them. If people are interested, I will make talks about it as well. But they seem to be more condensed. This is, as you know, they arrested 10 people during the Fairfax sting. It is as if you condensed 150 of the To Catch a Predator show, and you condensed them and you took the 10 most malign, the 10 most dangerous guys, the 10 most likely to be real molesters, and you put them into a single sting. So there are no regular average Joe Schmoes showing up who's looking to be opportunistic with a 15-year-old girl. Like, that's not the type of guys that we're gonna see in this show. Like, people show up with guns and a rape kit, and like, there's so much on these guys.
Oh, you can get home?
People have been commenting that the decoy, the physical decoy here, she looks really young. Oh my god, do you see her there? They actually have the cookies outside. Oh, there's muffins. Oh, there are muffins. Anyway, and they have blocked off that door with some piece of furniture, and they blocked off that door with some piece of furniture. Like, he doesn't have any. He's like being corralled in here like a Mustang. But anyway, could he look any more pedophile? The actress here, I don't know her name. I haven't done the legwork on her yet, but she's probably an actress. And I think they went more professional this time, even though the budget wasn't all that great. So she's probably somebody who has taped her chest or something, because she looks really young. Like, she looks like she could be 14. She looks like she has an appearance where she could be 25, but she looks like she could be 24 as well. Let's watching here. He lunges at her. Oh, we don't get to see what happens. Here we have another predator. He actually looks better in life than during the arrest photo. And it's just outside the image that you can see, but I can see it because I see a bigger screen. He actually has a cell phone that he puts up there on the table, and the different type of technology that people use will be showcased heavily in the show, like how they're using Google Maps and Google Earth, and how they find the address, and Facebook and Snapchat and all these things. And I think that those smartphones, they will provide a very valuable evidence against them, and if they were smart, they would throw the phone to the floor and step on it as soon as the police enters, because they will have a lot of evidence. So, like, people have their passwords saved there, they can get into your email very easily. And actually, if you're arrested with a phone on your body, in most states in the US, they don't need search warrants. So this will, if you put the car into gloves, if you are in your car and you put the telephone into your gloves compartment, the police cannot go through your phone. But if it is on your body as you exit the car during a search, for instance, they actually can. So, in some states at least. Well, here we go. Oh yes, yes, the Jurassic Park T-shirt. New forms of social media to help them find their victims. Yeah, here we have the Facebook. Yeah, who can see when you're nearby friends? 11 friends are sharing their location with you. So, the original To Catch a Predator show were about moral panic. And I think they're going to try to cause another one. Like, that's how you sell these things. Chris Hansen is pretty much, like, he's a wonderful interviewer, but he's also kind of like an ambulance chaser in journalism. Getting location, yeah, that's right. And this is actually a big problem for women who live on hidden addresses as well, because once you break up with a violent man that you've been living with, there are so many things that you're automatically logged into. that they can, you know, there's so many different network friends. If you rented a car, like something like that, you suddenly he can activate that. He can see where your phone is and so on. I always turn that stuff off on my phone. Not that I ever was in a violent relationship. I don't believe that. I have a GPS. It knows where I am. My phone doesn't really need to know where I am.
So you've seen...
So this is about as good as he's going to look. In the show, he's tired. Chris Hansen has been struggling with alcohol. He had a rough divorce. I don't think he lost custody over his sons, but like he didn't only cheat on his wife, but he was like dating a much younger girl, and it really hurt his career when it came out. Because in America, like I mentioned in the previous wedding video, the wedding video, you can do pretty much whatever you want to if you're not married. But as soon as you're married, it will harm your career even if you just get divorced or if you cheat and all these things. And alimony, the alimony laws in US, they sort of encourage predatory divorce by women. 75% of the people taking out divorce are women. So there's that. He has a big beer gut now. So, you know, he's at that age. I think he's 55 now. He's like between 20 and 45. Not really a lot happens to you, but between 45 and 55, a lot of men, especially of Northern European descent, like Chris Hansen, they go from being vivacious and energetic to being old men. And he's just tipping over to being old. Like, if he grew a beard, he would be a grandfather. But anyway, let's keep watching.
My shows before. Well, guess what? We're starting up again. Just see. What was on?
Oh, why don't you have a seat? So, my biggest worry was that Hansen would be up to the job. You know, it would be like Boondock Saints. I don't know if he's still up to the job, but he's so much up to the job. Let's watch the Hansen artillery break this, man. Let's watch it.
The agenda tonight.
She's 14.
14.
Mm-hmm. That guy there, he was like, we have his court video because his court footage because a man that we know that is an upstanding citizen, he's not the concerned citizen, but he's the upstanding citizen, actually went up there and he was able to get the footage from the court of sentencing of this man. His name is John Dupee, and he got 8 years, I think, the standard 8 years, 3 mandatory, and he's also convicted of unrelated drug charges. And he's probably on drugs then and there. He has this pasty skin, if that's the right word for it, I don't know. And his eyes are, you don't say blank in English, but they're like glassy or like watery, like there's water on his eyes. I'm no expert in seeing when people on drugs. And he really cried because we have his arrest picture, like the picture police take of you when you're brought in for booking. And he has obviously been crying. He's very unhappy there. So he hasn't been broken yet. He looks defiant. I think we will see a rehash of the David Schumacher standing up to Chris and then breaking later.
No, Chris.
That guy there, I think his name is Lawrence, and he's actually very rich. He's one of the richest men ever caught. He has his own yacht and stuff. He owned a real estate company up on Manhattan or something. Notice how he grabs his smartphone to get out of there. He used the smartphone all the way in. And he says, "No, Chris, don't do this to me." Because he actually used to commute on the same train as Chris Hansen. And you know how successful people are. They recognize each other. They go to the same cocktail parties. They talk. They have, you know, I know that congressman, you know. And so they shared a couple of conversations on the train commuting into New York. And here Chris Hansen are destroying his life. Just breaking. He doesn't even say anything. He just breaks his victim. Trapdoor spider. So that will be a very, very... there is no interview here because he knows what Hansen is about. Perhaps Hansen even told him, you know what, we're going to start up again, and, you know, all these things. You want to pitch in a few dollars, because Hansen was looking for a financial backer. If you donated, I believe it was $5,000, you would even be listed on IMDb as associate producer or something like that. And you would get some FaceTime with Hansen to give your input and so on. And I actually had some money on my bank account after I sold my bachelor apartment, and I was crazy enough to consider donating $5,000, but you know, I found my senses and I didn't do it. But I was pretty close to doing that, because, you know, having your name as associate producer, pretty cool. You could probably put it on your CV too. You know, 2 years from now, people would know how much you had to do with that TV show. But I didn't. But Hansen was, for a brief moment in May last year, willing to pimp out his name to anyone who had cash. And if he had been smart, he would have donated some money. Maybe he would have been tipped off where the trap house is, because the trap house is a house that Hansen friends, you know, a friend of Hansen owns.
You came here to smoke weed with a 13...
So he looks a bit Neanderthalic or retarded. I don't know, something prehistoric about him.
13-year-old girl.
Is that against the law?
To have sex with a 13-year-old girl when you're 44? Yes, it's against the law. But why would you...
I believe that interview with that guy will probably be the one that resembles the old To Catch a Predator show the most. He was also the man that we deemed to be the most normal when we got the arrest photos a year ago.
You even say that to a 12-year-old.
Look at that hairline, wow. It's very reminiscent of Dustin McFedrich, actually. So this footage is from the old TCAP show. This is from the new one. That's the guy with the glasses getting arrested. The gun was brought by a very malignant guy. I have done a very large talkie on him. I hope people will want to hear it, where I examine his Instagram while it was still up, his web page, his homepage, the Facebook, and actually his fantasy football league as well. He's the guy who showed up with the rape kit, and he posted the most hilarious stuff on Instagram, like Jared Fogle jokes and rape van jokes and everything. Like, it's one of these hiding in plain sight things, just like Jared Fogle was, you know, the subway guy who got arrested for pedophilia. Just like he was ridiculing people being arrested on the TCAP show, that guy was ridiculing people who you know, was arrested in general.
I'm Chris Hansen. And
that's the boom moment. Is that a column? No, the Cuban flag.
this is an investigation called Hansen versus Predator.
So that's it. That's the Sizzle reel. I just had to do this in my lunch break. In one take. I hope it's okay. It came out a little more bland than I hoped, I guess. But you know, this is so breaking news. The Chris Hansen show is coming back. The TCAP show is coming back. We will get at least one episode. I hope there will be a run of 6 or 7 good episodes before the supply of pedos dry up again. So that's it. Head over to Chris Hansen's webpage. I will post a link in the description, and give him a thumbs up, I guess. Thank you for listening.